dropping knowledge with agnostic. Time to get it in, y'all.
My mother has a heart full of batteries. An active morning leaves her drained, leaves her out of breath. She stays plugged into her bed through most of the afternoon, and recharging most days takes all evening. She uses these moments to read scripture and talk to Jesus. My mother owes her life to her faith. Would often ask me to take her to church on Sundays. She remembers all the times she's died, when resurrection has been a defibrillator laying hands on her. She thanks God for all the transformations, never the doctors. I recently watched a documentary about how often religious text gets doctored, how holy books undergo transformations. I read a lot about scripture, found there are 14,800 differences between the original Bible and its modern version, that there's no mention of Christ's return in its earliest rendition, that the similarities between Christianity and Egyptology are uncanny, and most religious holidays linked to Christ are pagan and have nothing to do with Christ at all. With all this, I became agnostic, not atheist. I didn't choose to believe in nothing, not that there's anything wrong with that. I just chose to stop looking through the pigeonhole that is religion. Felt a huge word like God is too big to put in a chapter book. I use terms like the universe now, and I don't pray, I meditate, and I figure if Jesus, Muhammad, and Moses didn't need a Bible, Quran, or Torah, then maybe I should follow suit. Now, at one point, I felt like I had to educate my mother on everything that I had learned. All the translations, religious fear-mongering, the origin of Satan, and since then, my mother has stopped asking me to take her to Sunday service. Says that she's praying for me, never really says what she's praying for. She thinks I'm an atheist, she's never heard the word agnostic. I had come to think there were 14,800 differences between my mother and me. But when the surgeon said that there was no mention of her return, I responded with scripture, "O ye of little faith." Realize the similarities between her and I are uncanny. That the little bit of gospel I have inside is pagan and has nothing to do with Christ at all. It was after watching coma and cardiac arrest leave her chest split like a Red Sea. After watching cancer be a nail in our family's palm, and every man in her life be one Judas after another. These things made me doubt the Lord. Overcoming them made her believe in God more. Now maybe she's blind, or maybe I'm blind, or maybe faith is about being blind and trusting everything that you feel. I mean, she calls it God, but I call it the universe. I mean, she found it in a book, but I found it in her. Look, I've learned too much about the Bible to always believe in it. She's gone through too much in life not to. My mother passes down the same Bible she swears kept her alive. I'ma read that shit all the way through one day if they add a chapter about my mother. Look, I'm agnostic, not atheist. There are times I've seen too much to believe in God, but I've watched my mother beat God too much not to believe something.